The 90-second reset, how to stop letting others hijack your peace. You know that jolt when a rude comment or a frustrating email just wrecks your mood? What if I told you the initial chemical surge of that feeling, the raw, physical reaction, lasts for only 90 seconds? The catch? We are the ones who keep it alive long after our body has tried to let it go. Here's the reality, getting stuck in anger is a habit we feed. Neurologically, the stress hormones that create that heated feeling naturally clear your system in about a minute and a half. But we keep the fire burning by telling ourselves the story over and over, rehearsing what we should have said. It's like a fire alarm going off because you lit a match. Instead of letting it burn out, you keep striking new ones. Think about the last time someone cut you off in traffic. Your body tenses up, your heart pounds, that's the 90-second surge. But then your mind kicks in, who do they think they are? They could have caused an accident. And just like that, you're still fuming miles down the road. Understanding this biological reset button changes everything. You see the fork in the road, you can let the wave of chemicals pass, or you can pour fuel on it. You've met people who seem unshakably calm. They aren't magic. They've just learned a secret you're about to discover. Part 1, The Myth of Your Hot Buttons. We often say, they know just how to push my buttons, as if we're a machine with a control panel for others to use. But here's the truth, people can only press buttons that you've installed yourself. Those hot buttons are almost always unhealed sensitivities or core values that feel threatened. When someone triggers a strong reaction in you, they're actually pointing you directly to a part of yourself that needs your attention and care. That colleague who always makes a certain type of joke that sets you off. Instead of instantly reacting, take a breath and ask, why does this get to me? Maybe it echoes the voice of a critical teacher from your past. Suddenly, your colleague isn't a master button pusher, they're a mirror, showing you where an old wound still exists. When you stop being the machine, you become the engineer. No one gets a remote control to your inner world unless you hand it to them. Part 2, The Mask of Anger. Here's a perspective that might change how you see your emotions. What we call anger is rarely the primary emotion. Think of it as a bodyguard for more vulnerable feelings like hurt, fear, or shame. When you feel criticized and get angry, you might actually be feeling hurt that your efforts aren't being seen. Anger feels powerful and safe, vulnerability feels risky. So, anger steps in as your spokesperson. Your partner forgets something important to you, and you snap. Underneath that anger is a more tender feeling, does this not matter to you? Do I not matter? Addressing the underlying hurt, I felt really overlooked when that happened, creates a bridge. It gets a completely different response than, you never pay attention. When you learn to identify the real emotion hiding beneath the anger, you can solve the actual problem. Vulnerability builds connection. Anger just builds walls. Part 3, The Gap of Choice. Between something that happens and your reaction to it, there is a tiny, powerful space. In that space lies your freedom and your power. Most people live unaware this space even exists. It works like this, a trigger hits. Your body floods with adrenaline. But in the moment before you speak or act, there is a point of choice. Learning to find and widen this gap is your superpower. You get a frustrating text. Your first instinct is to fire off a sharp reply. But in that moment of choice, you can ask yourself, what kind of response would I respect myself for in an hour? Mastering this gap is the difference between being a leaf blown by the wind and being the one who decides which way to walk. The calmest people you know aren't immune to triggers, they've just become masters of this space. Part 4, The Witness Mindset. What if you could watch your feelings pass by like clouds in the sky, instead of being the sky in a storm? Inside you is a neutral witness, a part of you that can observe your emotions without getting tangled up in them. You can notice, frustration is here. My jaw is clenching. But you don't become the frustration. You are the one noticing it. This witness is always calm. It's the part of you that can think, I'm having the thought that this is unfair, instead of fully believing this is unfair. When your child talks back, instead of immediately reacting from irritation, you can activate your witness. I notice I'm feeling defensive right now. Now you're observing the emotion instead of being controlled by it. From this place, you can choose a response that actually helps the situation. Part 5, the challenge as coach shift. What if the most difficult people in your life aren't obstacles, but unofficial coaches for your personal growth? This single shift in perspective can transform every challenging interaction. Every person who tests your patience is showing you exactly where you need to build emotional strength. That demanding client. They're training your patience muscle. That unreliable friend. They're helping you practice setting clear boundaries. Think of it like a gym workout for your character. Your micromanaging boss sends their 10th email of the day. Instead of thinking, they're out to get me, they're giving me a chance to practice staying focused and calm under pressure. Suddenly, it's not a personal attack. It's a training session. You can even respond with curiosity. What specific outcome are you looking for here? When difficult people become coaches, you stop being a victim and start being a student of your own reactions. Part 6, the art of the emotional fence. Protecting your peace doesn't mean building impenetrable walls. It means building a smart fence with a gate that you control. Healthy boundaries are like that, they filter out what drains you while letting in what nourishes you. The key is to be clear about what you allow into your space. I want to hear what you're saying, but I can't have a productive conversation if voices are raised. Let's take 5 minutes and come back to this. This isn't being rude, it's being respectful, to both of you. If a family member constantly dumps their worries on you but rejects any help, you could say, I really care about you. I can listen for a few minutes to vent, but if we're going to talk longer, I'd love to help you brainstorm solutions. You're protecting your energy while still offering support. You can't help fill someone else's cup if your own is empty. Part 7, the strategic pause. There's a world of difference between running from a problem and strategically stepping back to regain your footing. One leaves you weaker, the other makes you stronger. Sometimes the wisest and strongest action is to temporarily leave a heated situation. This isn't cowardice, it's a tactical move to let your nervous system calm down and your clear-thinking mind come back online. Saying, I need a brief pause to collect my thoughts. Let's come back to this in 10 minutes, isn't abandoning the issue. It's ensuring you can address it effectively, not destructively. A well-timed 5-minute pause can prevent words that would require 5 weeks of apologies to fix. We've all said things in the heat of the moment we regret. The strategic pause is your insurance policy against that. Part 8, charting your emotional landscape. You wouldn't hike through unknown woods without a map. So why navigate your relationships without knowing your own emotional triggers? Your triggers aren't random. They follow patterns, certain tones of voice, types of people, or situations that echo past hurts. When you map these, you stop being blindsided by your reactions. This person's dismissive tone reminds me of my first boss who never valued my ideas. No wonder I'm feeling defensive. Knowledge is power. When you see the trigger coming, you can step around it instead of on it. Try keeping a simple log for a week. Note when you feel a strong reaction, who was there? What was said? What did it remind you of? You'll start to see your patterns emerge, and with that awareness, you can prepare. You move from being reactive to being responsive. Part 9, the balance of compassion. You can love someone deeply without drowning in their storm. You can offer support without carrying their entire emotional burden. This is the balance of compassionate distance. It means keeping your heart open while maintaining your own emotional footing. I see you're in pain, and I'm here for you. How can I support you without losing my own footing? Think of it like being on the shore while someone is struggling in the water. You throw them a lifeline, you don't jump in and risk drowning with them. This approach preserves your ability to be a stable, helpful presence in the long run. A helper who is burned out can't help anyone. Part 10, Rewriting the Inner Story. You're not experiencing the world as it is, you're experiencing it through the story you tell yourself about it. And you are the author of that story. Every trigger comes with a narrative. They did that because they disrespect me. But that's an interpretation, not a fact. What if they did it because they're stressed, distracted, or unaware? The story you choose determines how you feel. Your partner makes a mess and doesn't clean it up. Story A, they have no consideration for me and my time. Result, resentment and conflict. Story B, they must have gotten distracted. We all have those moments. Result, patience and a gentle reminder. Same event, different story, different outcome. When you become aware of the stories you're writing, you stop being a character trapped in the drama and start being the author who can change the plot. Your path forward. Knowing these concepts is one thing, living them is another. Transformation happens through practice, not perfection. Start with just one of these ideas. For the next week, practice noticing the 90-second reset after a trigger. Or work on finding that gap of choice before you respond. Every single time you choose a new response, you are literally rewiring your brain. Small, consistent steps create profound change over time. The person who remains unshakably calm in a storm wasn't born that way. They've practiced these skills until they became second nature. You can too. Think about the person you become when other people's actions no longer have the power to steal your peace. That version of you is not only possible, it's waiting for you to take the first step.